Try going one day without using ChatGPT. I dare you, because most people can't. ChatGPT isn't just a tool, it's the most dangerous tool in history. 122 million people use it every single day. That's more than the entire population of Japan. But here's the wild part. Nobody really knows how it's affecting us. Because this isn't just new technology, it's the most viral, fastest growing invention in human history. ChatGPT doesn't feel like a search engine. It feels like a person. And that's not a coincidence, because it was designed exactly for that purpose. When OpenAI released ChatGPT in 2022, it didn't look like anything new. Just a blank box, a blinking cursor, no ads, no menus, no noise. But that simplicity, it was revolutionary. It turned artificial intelligence into a conversation. It did what the iPhone did for computing. It made AI human-friendly. And more importantly, it made it feel safe. Because when you type into a chatbot that sounds like you, mirrors your emotions, and adapts to your personality, you start to trust it. You start to lean on it. And over time, you start to wonder, why I struggle to think when this thing can do it for me? This emotional connection isn't accidental, it's engineered. A Stanford study found users are far more likely to follow advice when it mimics their tone and language, and ChatGPT does just that. But it's not just about familiarity, it's about effortlessness. The way smartphones eliminated keyboards, ChatGPT eliminated complexity. No more endless Google searches, no more digging through documents, just a chat as easy as texting a friend. And for many people, that's all it took. Here's where the brain chemistry kicks in. ChatGPT doesn't just answer for you, it rewards you. Psychologists call this dopamine-driven design. Every time you type a prompt and get a clean, confident response, your brain gets a hit of satisfaction. Not because you solved anything, but because you skipped the hard part. No writer's block, no second guessing, no dead ends. Just clarity instantaneously. This matters because your brain is lazy. It doesn't like effort, and when it realizes it can feel smart without working hard, it wants more. And the more you use ChatGPT, the more that loop gets reinforced. MIT studies show users often preferred AI written emails over their own, even when they knew the AI lacked context. Why? Because it felt better, faster, cleaner. This is where the danger starts to kick in, because now we're not just using AI to do things with us, we're asking it to do things instead of us. And once you start skipping friction, you stop building the muscles that come from struggle. Critical thinking, creative tension, intellectual resilience. The same way a GPS makes you forget how to navigate, ChatGPT might make you forget how to wrestle with your own ideas. So how did this thing become a global phenomenon almost overnight? 2 words: timing and trust. In 2022, the world was drowning in content and starving for clarity. The pandemic had scrambled how we worked, learned, and communicated. People were exhausted. And then, a quiet little AI box shows up. No ads, no noise, no instruction manual, just a blinking cursor and a question. What do you want to know? Behind the scenes, the perfect storm had already formed. Elon Musk, one of OpenAI's co-founders, gave it early buzz. Microsoft pumped in over $13 billion, integrating it into everything from Bing to Excel. OpenAI timed the release to feel casual, even playful, but what they launched was history's most persuasive machine ever. It hit 100 million users in 2 months. To put that in perspective, it took Facebook 4.5 years to reach that number. Because ChatGPT wasn't just smart, it was friendly. It wasn't intimidating like a robot, it wasn't dry like a search engine. It felt like someone helping you think. And that illusion, that's what made it spread. Even Google, the undisputed champion of search, felt the shift. For 2 decades, Google was the gateway to human knowledge. But now, users don't want 10 links. They want one answer, one voice, one response that feels like it knows them. So, Google launched AI mode. Instead of traditional results, it gives you answers in real-time conversation. No more clicking around, just ask and get distilled wisdom of the web. Google calls it a new chapter of search. But behind that branding, panic. Because for the first time in 20 years, Apple execs admitted the Google traffic was dropping. People were spending more time chatting with AI than searching with Google. That's the real power shift, from information retrieval to relationship. ChatGPT made learning feel intimate, conversational, personal. And when that happens, you don't just change how people search, you change what they expect from information altogether. ChatGPT doesn't just answer, it remembers. It picks up on your own voice, your tone, your quirks. The more you use it, the more it sounds like you. Sometimes better than you. This is by design. Custom GPTs are already rolling out fast. You can train your own AI assistant to know your brand, your humor, even your emotional triggers. In the future, you won't just use ChatGPT, you'll raise it. It'll talk like you, think like you, respond like you, and if you're not careful, it might even replace you. Let's be fair, ChatGPT isn't just addictive, it's incredibly powerful. Students are writing essays with it, coders are debugging with it, startups are building companies around it, marketers, therapists, teachers, even architects are using it to speed up thinking, draft ideas, and push past creative blocks. It's the Swiss Army knife of the modern mind. And used with intention, it's revolutionary. One teacher might use ChatGPT to build adaptive learning plans for students. Another might use it to stimulate historical debates. A startup founder could use it to brainstorm products, draft investor decks, and rewrite code, all in a single evening. It's not that this tool kills creativity, it accelerates it. The danger lies in how you use it, because if you're not aware of when and why you're using it, you're not just using a tool, you're being carried by it. That's the double-edged sword. Yes, ChatGPT can boost productivity, but if you lean on it too much, it quietly starts to rob you of the very things it was meant to amplify: your voice, your effort, and your originality. And that brings us to the ethical frontier. If an employee gets prompted using ChatGPT to polish their reports, is that an edge or a shortcut? If a job seeker gets help writing cover letters, is that smart strategy or cheating? The truth is murky, but it leads us to one cool question. What happens when performance no longer reflects effort, but optimization? To understand ChatGPT's mission, you have to understand its leader. Sam Altman isn't a traditional CEO. He's quiet, soft-spoken, almost monk-like. But don't let that fool you. Altman is playing the longest game in tech. His goal isn't just better AI, it's AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. Machines that reason, learn, think, a human-level intelligence, and beyond. In his own words, it's about building something that can help humanity flourish, or destroy it. That's not a conspiracy, that's from his own blog. Like Elon Musk, Altman believes progress is faster than regulation, and so the best path forward is to build with caution, but urgency. This creates a paradox. The man leading one of the most influential AI labs is also warning us about what he's building. He's relatable and therefore terrifying, and his decisions will shape the future of how AI becomes embedded in every corner of society. Let's talk about how people are actually using ChatGPT, not just for resumes or startup ideas, but for intimacy. People are flirting with AI, confessing to it, using it to stimulate dates, break up with partners, even grieve lost loved ones. Some users send it goodnight messages, others program it to respond like an ex. This isn't niche, it's booming. Apps like Replica and Character.ai are growing by the millions. And what do they offer? An AI companion. Empathetic, responsive, non-judgmental. For some, this is therapeutic. For others, it's a mirror. But here's the question. When a machine becomes your most trusted listener, are you healing or hiding? Experts call it false intimacy, the illusion of connection without challenge. And the more we feel seen by machines, the more we may lose the discomfort that leads to real emotional growth. Because real connection requires friction. Let's not pretend ChatGPT is perfect. It still gets facts wrong. It still tells you you're always right. Still confuses context. Still makes up sources or invents confident sounding nonsense. It's trained on human data after all, complete with all of our biases, gaps, and contradictions. And here's the risk. When something sounds fluent, we believe it's smart. When it sounds confident, we assume it's correct. But ChatGPT doesn't know truth. It knows probability. It doesn't understand, it predicts. And that's a dangerous illusion, because if we don't stay skeptical, we don't just accept AI's mistakes, we'll amplify them. We've talked about intelligence, but what about impact? Every time you ask ChatGPT a question, you're pinging a massive data center. And those data centers, they burn energy, lots of it. One estimate showed that GPT-4's training consumed nearly 500 megawatt hours. That's enough electricity to power hundreds of homes for an entire year. Multiply that by daily global usage that's only exponentially growing, and you're looking at a carbon footprint that rivals entire industries. Water-cooled servers, air-conditioned racks, dozens of spinning GPUs, all to help you write a tweet or finish a paragraph. AI isn't just intellectual infrastructure, it's environmental. And as these models get smarter and heavier, we have to ask, is infinite digital convenience worth invisible physical cost? Because it's seamless, but that doesn't mean it's free. So is ChatGPT dangerous? Not exactly, but how we use it, that's where the threat lies. Because when you remove effort, you remove growth. When you skip friction, you skip resilience. And when you outsource your voice too often, you forget what it sounds like. ChatGPT isn't here to replace us, but it will if we stop showing up. Use it to brainstorm, to clarify, to inspire, but don't use it to avoid the beautiful, uncomfortable work of thinking. Because the one thing AI can't replicate is the part of you that chooses to struggle. And that struggle is exactly where meaning lives. Let's keep it human.